Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. I need you to pause and take one very slow breath. Do not look away from this screen. This is not the random algorithm of the internet finding you. This is an urgent interception. Heaven has routed this exact frequency to your device because you are running out of time. You have been feeling a strange heaviness in your chest lately. You have been waking up at 3 in the morning with your mind completely racing. And you thought it was just anxiety. You thought you were losing your grip, but you are not crazy. You are not falling apart. What you are feeling is the physical shockwave of a massive spiritual collision. Something incredibly intense is happening behind the scenes of your life right now. The people who plotted against you are watching your every move. The ones who smiled in your face while silently praying for your downfall are currently in a state of absolute panic. And the wildest part of this entire situation is that you have absolutely no idea what you just did. You have been walking through your days feeling exhausted and drained. You thought you were just surviving the storm, but heaven needs you to know the truth today. In the last few weeks, you did two incredibly bizarre things. You did not plan them. You did not sit down and strategize your next move. These were completely unconscious actions, but they operated like a spiritual earthquake in the unseen realm. You accidentally activated a primal defense mechanism that completely destroyed the plans of your enemies. They always described you the same way. They called you too sensitive. They thought you were weak because you forgave them so easily in the past. They assumed you would always be the quiet empath who takes the blame to keep the peace. And because they misjudged your heart, they severely underestimated your spirit. Funny how everyone pretended they did not see you coming. Funny how the same people who drained your energy are suddenly feeling incredibly uncomfortable whenever your name is mentioned. Your presence alone is now shifting the atmosphere and making them sweat. I am going to reveal exactly what those two bizarre things are. I will show you the exact moves you made that left the narcissists completely spooked. But you must not leave this message. If you swipe away now, you will single-handedly shut the door on the revelation your soul has been crying out for. You will miss the exact confirmation you need to finally understand your own power. The dark forces are begging you to close this video right now. They want you distracted. They want you focused on the physical bills and the emotional drama. Because if you stay until the end, you will realize that your period of being the victim is officially over. But before we go into the two actions that terrified your enemies, I want to hold something very important in front of you. Something that explains the deep exhaustion you still feel underneath this new power. Because I know you are tired. I know the gap between the person you know yourself to be and the reality you live in is painful. You watch others succeed effortlessly while you struggle for every inch. You know deep down that you carry a higher potential, but it feels like a heavy door is locked inside your mind. What if I told you that this block is not a character flaw? What if the intense gap between your spiritual power and your physical reality actually has a scientific name? Something discovered not inside a church or a spiritual community, but inside a rigorous research laboratory. This secret mechanism won the highest scientific recognition available, and it explains exactly why your intuition went completely silent when you entered adulthood. It explains why the universe seems to respond to certain people easily while you have to fight for basic survival. Most chosen ones have never been told about this discovery. The elite systems of this world have deliberately kept it hidden to keep you functioning as a basic worker. They suppressed this specific frequency before you ever had a chance to claim your birthright. I am going to show you exactly what this discovery is. I will tell you the exact name of it later in this message, but not yet. First, I need you to fully understand the magnitude of what you just accomplished in the spiritual realm. I need you to see how much damage you just did to the kingdom of darkness without even trying. So hold this question in your mind as we proceed. What if the feeling of being blocked is not your fault? What if the blessing is already here, but your receiver has been intentionally turned off? This is your final warning to pay attention. The universe is about to validate every single tear you shed in secret. The people who manipulated you are about to witness your ultimate elevation. Take another deep breath and anchor yourself right here. You are not merely a survivor anymore. You are the master of your own reality now. And the first bizarre thing you did to prove it is going to absolutely shock you. Listen very carefully. Let us talk about the heavy silence you have been living in. You spend most of your days feeling entirely misunderstood by the people around you. They see the smile you put on for their comfort, but they do not see the absolute exhaustion hiding right behind your eyes. You are always the one fixing things for everyone else, while your own spirit feels broken. But when you need a safe place to fall, the room is completely empty, and you have asked yourself countless times why you feel so deeply isolated. You wonder why your genuine kindness is constantly met with betrayal. The narcissists gravitated toward your bright light because they had absolutely none of their own, and you gave them your energy freely. You thought loving them harder would eventually heal their deep brokenness, but it only drained your spirit and left you feeling deeply empty inside. I need you to stop blaming yourself for the painful cycles of your past. You did not do anything wrong, because you were just operating from a pure heart in a world that thrives on manipulation and greed. Your forced isolation is absolutely not a punishment from the universe. It was a divine quarantine designed specifically to protect your frequency. Heaven had to ruthlessly remove those counterfeit connections because they were destroying your aura. The universe intentionally pulled you away from the noisy crowd, and you had to sit in the quiet to finally hear your intuition again. The intense pain of rejection was actually a rigorous training ground for your nervous system. You are no longer the empath who begs to be understood. The crucible of pain has forged you into an empath with boundaries. You have finally learned how to protect your sacred energy. But even with these new boundaries firmly in place, you still feel a strange blockage. You know you are destined for greatness, but the daily reality still feels like a massive struggle. You sit in your room and wonder why the financial breakthrough refuses to manifest. You pray and meditate constantly, but the universe feels frustratingly quiet. And this brings us to the hidden truth they never told you about your spiritual connection while you were suffering in silence. The reason the universe responds to certain people and not others is not about faith. It is not about discipline or how many hours you spend visualizing your goals. It is a biological brainwave that drives everything, and scientists actually have a specific name for it. They call it gamma, and it is the exact frequency your brain was naturally running when you were a small child. Think back to those early years of your earthly life, back when brilliant ideas came to you easily and learning felt completely effortless, when you somehow knew things before they even happened. That was your gamma brainwave firing at genius capacity, and the world felt entirely magical because your frequency was perfectly aligned with creation. Then adulthood slowly arrived, and the modern world went to work on you. The chronic stress of paying bills began to rewire your neural pathways. The rigid school systems trained you to conform instead of creating your own unique path. Every single year of your life, this sacred frequency was suppressed a little further because the heavy demands of society forced you to survive. The endless routine pushed it deeper below the surface, until the version of you with photographic memory went totally silent. The genius abilities you possessed were buried under mountains of societal programming and anxiety. When your gamma frequency faded, your deep connection to the universe faded with it, and the synchronicities stopped happening in your life. The undeniable sense that God was working with you went completely quiet. The elite systems designed this matrix specifically to keep your brain out of the gamma state, because a chosen one operating in full gamma is totally impossible to control or manipulate. They want you trapped in the low frequency of fear while you spend your energy working for their benefit. Most people will live their entire earthly lives without ever knowing this happened to them, but you are clearly not most people. And the question I asked you to hold a few minutes ago is very important now. The question about a gap and a hidden name that explains your entire struggle. The answer is much closer to you than you could ever imagine, and it will change everything. You are finally beginning to see the invisible cage that was placed around your mind. The block is not a lack of spiritual worthiness on your part. It is a suppressed frequency that simply needs to be turned back on. I promise to tell you exactly how to reactivate it before this message ends. But right now, we must look at the first bizarre thing you did. You are finally ready to know what you did. The first bizarre thing you did was completely invisible to the naked eye, but it sounded like an explosion in the spiritual realm. You simply stopped explaining yourself to people who misunderstood you. In the past, you would have sent a long message trying to fix it. But this time, you just turned around and walked away. Your total silence was a brilliant weapon of light. It terrified the narcissists more than any angry words ever could. They were entirely prepared for your emotional reaction. They had their manipulative arguments already planned out in their dark heads. But you gave them absolutely nothing to work with. You left them alone with their own twisted reflections. They are completely spooked by your calm behavior right now. They keep checking your pages, expecting to see you falling apart. They desperately need a sign that their absence destroyed your beautiful life. Because if you are actually thriving without their toxic presence, their entire false reality completely shatters. Your silence proved they were totally irrelevant. You did not even realize how powerful you were being. You thought you were just too tired to argue with them anymore. But heaven was actually guiding your behavior in that exact moment. The universe was actively stepping in to permanently cut the heavy energetic cord between your pure soul and their toxic frequency. Your silence was the ultimate demonstration of quiet authority. You became the weapon you were desperately trying to survive. The heavy silence after the storm hits very differently when you realize that you were the powerful storm all along. You finally took your sacred power back without lifting a single finger, and that is exactly why their evil plans crumbled to the ground. You starved their demons by just refusing to care anymore. The people who hurt you are now facing their own instant karma, because when you finally removed your bright protective energy from their dark lives, you left them totally exposed to the universe. You were the strong shield, holding back the heavy consequences of their actions. And the moment you walked away, all their bad karma rushed back in. They are absolutely terrified right now. They thought they had broken your spirit when they pushed you into isolation. But what they did not realize was that solitude was your divine training ground. You did not break under the heavy pressure, but you evolved into a master of reality who is completely untouchable. Now your beautiful presence alone shifts the atmosphere. Your silence is a massive wall that terrifies them. You have finally become the empath with permanent boundaries. A healed person no longer tolerates deep confusion disguised as romantic love. You no longer tolerate blatant disrespect disguised as brutal honesty. The painful days of making yourself small to keep others comfortable are officially over. And the universe is eagerly responding to your new vibration by realigning your future. This is a massive spiritual victory for your lineage. You have permanently changed the dynamic of your earthly timeline. The universe is incredibly proud of the strong boundaries you just established. You are the rare anomaly who bravely broke the toxic generational cycle of dark abuse for your entire family line. Take a deep breath and feel that divine truth settling into your physical body. Heaven is validating your silent pain right now. Every tear you cried in private was collected and turned into your current spiritual armor. The enemies thought they were burying you under their heavy lies, but they did not know you were a powerful seed that thrives in the dark dirt. You are blooming into a version of yourself that cannot be manipulated by earthly tactics anymore. Tap the like button as an act of agreement with what God just spoke to you. Let that physical movement be a permanent seal of your new authority. You are marking the exact moment you recognized your own divine strength. Do not let this powerful realization fade away into the background. Your spirit deeply knows this is the absolute truth about your life. Because the narcissists are only one small part of the problem. They were just foot soldiers in a much larger war against your unique frequency. There is a much deeper and sinister mechanism designed specifically to keep you permanently trapped in a loop of pure exhaustion. They are terrified of what happens when a chosen one regains their genius. And that leads us to the second bizarre thing you did. The real war was never just about toxic people. It is a massive system designed to crush your light. The narcissists were merely foot soldiers doing the dirty work for a much bigger agenda. They noticed your glowing aura the moment you walked into the room, and they absolutely hated the pure light you carried inside of you. They desperately wanted to steal that beautiful energy for themselves. You have always cared far too much about others. You felt their pain deeply and wanted to heal their brokenness. They used your incredible empathy as a limitless battery for their own miserable survival. They constantly orchestrated unnecessary drama to keep you totally exhausted, because a tired empath is much easier to control and manipulate. Your daily exhaustion was their ultimate goal all along. Every single argument with them was a carefully planned trap. Every sudden crisis was manufactured to keep your brain entirely out of the genius frequency. When you are constantly surviving their chaos, you cannot focus on creating your own future. They desperately needed you trapped in a harsh survival mode, because your divine creativity is the very thing that can destroy their false reality. They needed you focused on pain instead of power. They wanted to keep your frequency extremely low and heavy. A chosen one stuck in a low frequency is entirely harmless to the Dark Kingdom, but a chosen one vibrating at their true frequency is a massive and terrifying threat. You are literally a weapon of light walking among them, and they spent years trying to convince you that you were just ordinary and weak. They almost succeeded in putting your spirit to sleep. But their evil plan has completely failed today. You are finally waking up to their subtle manipulation. You are clearly seeing the invisible strings they tried to pull behind your back. Your eyes are wide open to the truth of your past, and this intense awakening brings us to a massive revelation about your own mind. This is where everything begins to change for you. Before we go any further, I have to tell you something incredibly important. The people who profit from your exhaustion do not want you to know this. Neuroscientists have been working very quietly, away from the loud and distracting headlines. These brilliant researchers have discovered exactly how to bring your dormant brainwave back online, and they did it without using any strange, mystical rituals. Science is finally catching up to your soul. They figured out how to restore your lost gamma state. They did not do it through years of intense meditation that most people cannot sustain. They did not tell you to sit in total silence for hundreds of hours. Instead, they bypassed all the heavy lifting and went straight to the root of the biological problem hiding inside your brain. The solution is far simpler than you ever imagined. They did not use expensive machines that cost thousands of dollars. They found something far more aligned with how your body was originally designed to work. A specific sound frequency can guide your brainwave patterns safely back to the genius state. This exact frequency automatically restores the pure mental capacity you were born with, so you can stop fighting against your own mind every single day. You just have to relax and let it work. Princeton University has carefully studied this specific brainwave mechanism. The Einstein Center in Berlin completely confirmed its incredible power to create sudden genius. Columbia University found something even more shocking about this specific frequency state. When this brainwave is reactivated in your mind, it actually begins to positively influence the energy of the people standing around you. Your frequency becomes a shield for your entire family. Your children and your partner can feel your new peaceful frequency immediately. 7 minutes a day is all it takes to shift your entire earthly reality. The most beautiful part is that it begins working the first time you listen. You do not have to wait several long months to feel the heavy mental fog finally lifting from your exhausted shoulders. The relief washes over you like a warm wave. I will tell you exactly what this is called before this message officially ends. But first, there is something much deeper you must understand about your spiritual journey. You need to know why your major breakthrough has been severely delayed for so long. The darkness set a massive trap for you right before the dawn, because they knew you were getting dangerously close to your divine inheritance. They threw every possible obstacle directly into your path. They used the people closest to you to break your trusting heart. They used sudden financial delays to crush your hopeful spirit. Every time you took one step forward, they aggressively pushed you 3 steps backward. If they could somehow force you to quit right now, they would permanently win the spiritual war for your soul. They wanted you to surrender your crown to them, but they made a completely fatal mistake in their calculations. They actually thought the heavy pressure would finally destroy your mind. They deeply believed the isolation would make you run back to their toxic arms. They did not know that extreme pressure is exactly what the universe uses to create an unstoppable master of reality. Your pain was never meant to be your prison. Your pain was the fiery furnace that forged your unbreakable spiritual armor. You survived the absolutely worst things they could throw at you in the dark. You are still standing here with a pure heart and a fiercely protective spirit. And because you have successfully passed their cruel tests, you are about to do the second bizarre thing that will completely finish them. Prepare yourself for what happens next in your timeline. You are ready to hear the second bizarre thing. It was even more powerful than your heavy silence. You did not just stop talking to them. You completely withdrew your spiritual energy from their entire existence. And the invisible cord that constantly fed them your pure light was permanently severed, because you finally recognized your own massive worth. You pulled your bright aura back into your physical body. You stopped radiating your beautiful healing energy in their dark direction. This sudden withdrawal of energy created a massive vacuum. The narcissists immediately felt the brutal loss of your beautiful light. They started suffocating in their own dark and twisted reality. You were the only good thing keeping them afloat in life. But you abruptly stopped being the reliable battery for their miserable survival, and they do not know how to function without you. They are completely starving for your attention right now. They feel the cold emptiness of your absolute absence. You did not even notice you were doing this brilliant move. You just woke up one day and felt entirely detached. The heavy sadness you carried for years suddenly evaporated into thin air. You stopped caring about their terrible opinions of you. The desperate empath who constantly begged to be understood is officially dead and gone forever. You have been beautifully forged into an untouchable master of reality who commands total respect. You finally stopped shrinking to fit into their tiny boxes. Your energy now demands absolute respect without a single word spoken. You no longer tolerate any confusion disguised as romantic love. You easily spot their subtle manipulation from a mile away. The painful days of making yourself small are permanently over. And the universe is actively clearing a massive path for your new vibration because your frequency has completely shifted into high gear. You have finally become the ultimate cycle breaker for your family. The dark chains are permanently broken. Future generations of your family will thank you for this victory. You alone stood against the dark curse of your bloodline. You took all the heavy hits and refused to fall down. The spiritual warriors in heaven are cheering for your incredible resilience. Your absolute refusal to engage with toxic drama has literally changed the trajectory of your earthly timeline. The universe is handing you the golden keys to the eternal kingdom. You have earned every single piece of this massive spiritual upgrade. The pitch-black darkness has officially retreated behind you. The bright dawn of the new era is shining upon your crown. Can you physically feel that shift in your spirit right now? That is the glorious frequency of absolute and total victory. You are boldly stepping into the exact timeline you were born to rule, and heaven is waiting for you to firmly lock this reality into place. The massive wealth transfer is looking for a safe harbor in your life. To lock in this glorious frequency, you must take physical action. You need to create an absolute shield of protection around yourself. The dark forces will try to steal this realization if you let them. Type 111 down in the comments to claim this divine alignment, and let the physical act of typing be a permanent seal of your new identity. Do not let this beautiful moment pass you by without making a firm declaration. Your spiritual signature is required right now. Your spirit is fully awake and standing at attention now. The heavy fog of confusion has been permanently lifted from your eyes. You clearly see who you are and why you were violently attacked. The enemy targeted you because they saw your massive potential early on. They knew that a fully awakened chosen one would completely destroy their fragile systems of control and manipulation. They tried to keep you completely blind to your own brilliant magic, but their pathetic plan failed miserably. The thick veil has been completely torn away today. You are standing in the brilliant light of your own quiet authority. The desperate people who hurt you are watching your beautiful rise. They are witnessing everything they built crumble to the dusty ground. While their dark world falls apart in front of them, a gorgeous table is being prepared for you right in their physical presence. Your total victory and happiness is the ultimate form of divine karma. You do not have to lift a finger to punish them. You do not need to seek any loud or aggressive revenge. The universe is perfectly handling every single detail of your vindication. Your only job is to stay firmly planted in your new peace. You must vigorously protect this beautiful frequency from any toxic interference. Because the final door to your massive blessing is already unlocking right now, and you have done the hard inner work required for this massive upgrade. The spiritual rewards arriving tomorrow are going to completely blow your mind. Every closed door from your past is being blown off its hinges. The harsh desert you walked through has suddenly burst into an oasis. The spiritual blocks that held back your finances are rapidly dissolving. You are finally receiving the massive, energetic return on your emotional investments. And the universe is orchestrating a series of beautiful synchronicities to prove that you are completely supported in every single way. The heavy season of waiting is officially and permanently over for you. The waiting season is officially over today. You can physically feel the heavy atmosphere thinning out around your body. The dense fog that covered your vision for years is rapidly clearing away. And the universe is dropping massive signs directly into your daily path because your vibration is matching your desires. You are seeing repeating numbers everywhere. You are seeing 111 and 777 on every clock. These are absolutely not random coincidences of a busy earthly day. These are direct confirmations from the spiritual realm that your frequency is aligned, while heaven is orchestrating a beautiful symphony just for you. The divine timing of your life is finally catching up. Your body is also giving you powerful physical signs of this massive timeline shift. The strange tightness in your chest is suddenly replaced by a deep warmth, and you wake up feeling incredibly light and completely energized. The heavy burden of pure survival mode has been lifted from your tired shoulders. Your physical vessel is preparing to hold immense joy. You are noticing that toxic people are naturally repelled by your new glowing energy. The old friends who only wanted to drain you are suddenly very quiet. They feel the intense heat of your new boundaries, and they quickly walk away in total defeat. This rapid clearing of your social circle is a massive sign of your incoming blessing. God is actively making room. The universe deliberately slowed you down to protect you from entering the wrong rooms. The painful rejection you experienced in the past was actually God implementing a strict protection protocol. And because you passed the test of isolation, the floodgates of heaven are blowing completely open. Every single prayer you whispered is being answered right now. But before we step into the ultimate revelation of your new power, I must warn you. There is a hidden danger lurking right at the edge of your beautiful breakthrough. I have to warn you about a completely fatal trap first, because 99% of chosen ones fall for this exact illusion right before their massive miracle arrives on their doorstep. The dark forces clearly know they cannot stop the massive blessing coming toward you. They cannot block the financial abundance that heaven has already released into your timeline, but they are setting up a final trap to make you sabotage your own success. They desperately want you to voluntarily hand over the golden keys. The fatal trap is the sudden appearance of a toxic counterfeit from your painful past. An old toxic ex or a fake friend will suddenly reach out to you out of absolutely nowhere. They will send a casual message right when your real blessing is standing at the door. Do not reply to their manipulative message. This is a targeted spiritual test of boundaries. They want to pull your pure frequency back down to their miserable level of existence. If you engage with their toxic drama, you will delay the beautiful timeline shift. You must absolutely ignore their desperate attempts to steal your bright light, because your total silence is the only acceptable response to their dark invitation. You are a weapon of light. Take a deep breath and let this vital warning settle deep into your spirit. You have come way too far to let a weak counterfeit ruin your divine harvest. The universe is watching your physical response in this exact second to see if you are truly ready. Prove that you are finally a master of reality by keeping your sacred door firmly closed. When you successfully ignore the counterfeit, the final seal of your blessing is broken open. The immense wealth and the deep peace you have been waiting for will instantly flood into your life. You will step into a beautiful flow state where everything simply becomes incredibly easy, and the heavy resistance of the past decade will vanish into thin air. But there is one final piece of the massive puzzle that you must understand today. There is a physical key that completely unlocks the massive spiritual gate standing in front of you. You have done all the necessary inner work to prepare your resilient soul for this upgrade, but your physical brain still needs to be recalibrated to receive the massive download. The brilliant scientists I mentioned earlier have discovered exactly how to turn the final key. They found the exact biological switch that deeply connects your mind to the frequency of heaven. And the most shocking part of this revelation is how incredibly simple the entire process actually is. You do not have to struggle for another 10 years to find the answer. I promise to tell you exactly what this powerful scientific discovery is called. I promise to show you how to finally remove the heavy block from your tired mind forever. The waiting is officially over, and the truth is about to be placed directly into your open hands. Pay very close attention to this next part, because it is the exact answer you waited for. The question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message is finally ready to be answered. What if the massive gap between your spiritual power and your physical reality has a scientific name? You have spent years thinking you were simply not praying hard enough. You thought your faith was somehow broken or weak. But here is the absolute truth that will set you free today. The heavy block was never a flaw in your beautiful character. It was a suppressed biological frequency, a specific biological frequency called the gamma brainwave was naturally running in you as a child. Princeton University studied this incredible phenomenon deeply in their laboratories, and the Einstein Center in Berlin completely confirmed its massive power to create sudden genius. Columbia University found that when this brainwave is safely restored, it automatically radiates outward because it powerfully influences the people you love the most. A dedicated team of neuroscientists spent years studying this exact frequency. Dr. Robert Lake in New York led this brilliant team. They worked quietly to compress the full clinical protocol for gamma reactivation into exactly 7 minutes. They knew the elite systems were intentionally keeping this knowledge hidden from chosen ones like you. They wanted to create a simple tool that bypassed all the heavy spiritual lifting. But before I tell you what this dedicated team built, let me tell you about 2 chosen ones who used it. A woman from California had literally tried everything to heal her exhausted mind. She tried intense meditation and manifesting techniques for many painful years, but nothing broke the heavy fog around her mind. After 2 weeks of listening to this frequency, she said something miraculously cleared. The divine channels simply opened for her without any forced effort, and her struggling marriage shifted beautifully into a place of peace. She described her daily life as enchanted for the first time ever. A man from Texas started using it to improve his failing business focus. 2 months later, his wife joked that his intelligence had jumped 20 points overnight. The absolute hardest problems he used to lose sleep over started solving themselves while he slept, because his brain was finally running on what it was always supposed to run on. That is because of what the researchers I am about to name discovered in their clinic. That is exactly what Dr. Lake and his brilliant team built for you. They call it the Genius Song. It is absolutely not a basic meditation application, but it is a 7-minute audio track using advanced brain entrainment technology. The same exact underlying research that Princeton and Columbia validated is compressed into something you do at home. You just use your headphones and keep your eyes completely closed. That is the entirety of what it requires from you. You do not chant or struggle to clear your busy mind. You simply let the frequency do what your brain was designed to receive. The Genius Song is not for everyone watching this message, but it is specifically for the chosen one who has already done the heavy inner work. You already understand that what is being blocked is not your strong faith. The frequency through which your faith moves is what desperately needs restoration. If your spirit confirms this truth, the path is ready. Biofeedback sessions to restore this state cost hundreds of dollars per hour in a clinical setting, and an in-home machine runs thousands of dollars. What the Genius Song delivers in 7 minutes is available to you today for a fraction of its true value. 4 powerful bonuses come directly with it today to protect your journey. You receive an audio designed specifically for your children, and you get the original prosperity text that the secret was secretly built upon. You also receive a guided visualization and a daily habits guide built to sustain your new gamma state. Here is the deeper truth about waiting for your miracle. The blessing arranged for you does not arrive as entirely new information, but it arrives as a powerful recognition of what is already yours. The chosen one, who restores the receiver today, finally sees what was always there. Waiting is not neutral, because the divine arrangement is already in motion. Do not look for this on YouTube or Spotify. The tracks circulating under similar names on those platforms have absolutely no brain entrainment technology encoded. They carry the name because the barrier to doing so is exactly 0, so the only authentic version is available through the protected link below. The universe requires no earthly risk from you. If you do not feel the immediate energetic shift, your earthly investment is completely reversed without question. That is an energetic exchange governed by complete trust and divine protection. You can walk through this open door with absolute peace of mind. The link is securely placed in the description and in the pinned comment below. Do not let this moment pass. The tool is not the final destination. The tool restores the receiver so the destination can be recognized when it safely arrives. God does not require you to access any physical tool to be deeply loved or chosen. What was described is simply one way the receiver is restored, and whether that path is for you or not, the truth of this message belongs to you entirely. Now let us go deeper into your final sealing. The frequency tool I described a moment ago remains completely available in the description for those whose spirit said yes. The path is still open in the pinned comment for you to walk through right now. That is the last time it will be mentioned. What follows now belongs entirely to your beautiful closing and sealing. The heavy dust of your past battles has finally settled to the ground. You can physically feel the dark chains falling completely away from your tired soul. The air around you is suddenly light and easy to breathe again, and you are finally stepping out of the harsh wilderness and directly into your promised land. The universe is celebrating you today. You are officially handed the ultimate keys to your earthly reality right now. You hold absolute power over the energy that enters your sacred space, and no one is allowed to cross your strong boundaries without your direct permission anymore. You dictate the exact terms of your daily existence from this moment forward. Your word is absolute law. The people who misunderstood your deep silence will never have access to your pure light again. Their dark season of feeding on your beautiful empathy is permanently finished because you have completely revoked their spiritual access to your unique frequency. They are left entirely alone to deal with the harsh consequences of their selfish choices today. You do not need to look back at the burning bridges behind you. The massive fire is beautifully illuminating the clear path waiting right in front of your feet, and you are the rare cycle breaker who bravely stood your ground against incredible pressure. Future generations of your bloodline will safely walk on the solid roads you just paved. The heavy generational curses that chased your family are completely dead. They hit the solid wall of your divine authority and shattered into a million tiny pieces because you absorbed the painful impact so your children would never have to feel it. That is the ultimate mark of a truly awakened master of reality. Your pure legacy is protected. A massive transfer of spiritual and physical wealth is locating you right now. The universe is actively pushing divine favors and sudden miracles directly into your daily timeline, so you do not have to fight for basic survival or beg for tiny crumbs of affection anymore. You are simply taking your rightful seat at the head of the glorious table. Heaven commands you to stop playing small, just to keep insecure people comfortable. You must let your massive light blind anyone who refuses to respect your profound evolution, because the world desperately needs the exact frequency you are finally ready to broadcast. You are a dangerous weapon of pure light in a world that desperately needs your absolute truth. Your quiet authority requires no loud validation from the broken crowds around you. You move in absolute silence, but your massive impact echoes through the spiritual realm, and everything you touch from this glorious day forward will beautifully prosper and multiply. The angels assigned to your earthly journey are clearing every single physical obstacle away. The dark nights of crying yourself to sleep are officially replaced by beautiful mornings of total peace. You will wake up every single day feeling incredibly aligned and divinely guided, because the deep confusion that clouded your heavy mind is completely gone forever. You clearly know exactly who you are and what you must accomplish here on this earth. The enemies of your soul are completely terrified of this beautiful new version of you. They know they can never manipulate your kind heart or twist your pure intentions again, and you have permanently outgrown the tiny cages they desperately tried to force you into. Your massive spiritual wings are fully spread, and you are soaring high above their drama. But you must vigorously protect this new frequency as you boldly walk forward. The universe requires you to build a permanent energy shield around your daily life, and you must anchor your physical body to this divine revelation before the dark forces try to distract you again. Subscribe to the channel right now to establish a powerful receiving station. Let that small physical action be a firm boundary against the creeping darkness. You are telling the unseen realm that you are firmly committed to your own spiritual growth, and you are locking your doors and securing your glorious windows against any future attacks. The universe absolutely loves and generously rewards this kind of swift obedience. If this fiery message has reignited the powerful faith inside your tired soul today, do not keep this massive blessing entirely to yourself. There is a broken soul out there bleeding in the dark of despair right now. They desperately need the exact guiding light you just received from heaven in this message. You must reach out and help them today. Share this message to activate the divine anointing and multiply your own personal blessing. Sowing the powerful seed of hope today is mathematically multiplying the massive harvest for your own tomorrow, because you are a completely healed master of your reality now. Step boldly into the beautiful light and claim everything that is rightfully yours forever.